Hans, welcome. We at Waldorf are thrilled to have you here. And me personally, I'm super excited. And I was very much looking forward to this. And now, our first question is what led you to create music? And with regards to that, I have discovered a wonderful article you have written about Ennio Morricone a few years ago in a music review magazine. Now, in this article, you describe how it all started. And for our viewers who have not read this article, please share with us, how did it all start? What led you to create music in the first place?
Oh, this is really tricky because I have no idea what I wrote in the article all those years ago. How did it all start? Well, I'll give you my answer now, of my memory. I've been playing music. I've been playing, and the word is play. Play is very important. I've been doing that since I was, 3 years old or whatever. I went to classical concerts with my mum when I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. We had a piano at home and we had a Grundig tape machine, which I absolutely took to pieces. My mum was a musician, my father was a scientist. So I had both of these things in me, the experiment with science and experiment with music.
So
I
your
had
parents supported you all the way. And I also read that
No,
you.
they didn't. No, they didn't. No, not at all. They were going get a real job. You know. No, but my father died when I was very young, and the only thing that would make that would put a smile sort of on my mum's face was when I played the piano. So I was sort of I was sort of compelled to go and play the piano in a funny way. And me myself, took great refuge in music, and then by the time you're a teenager, if you can play an instrument, you're going to be very popular at school. So all these things are very helpful. Um, but no, but no. Every parent will tell you, and I will do the same with my children. No. It's too risky. Being a musician. How are you going to go and earn a living? And I promise you, even now, still, especially in Germany, when I go to a party or something like this, and people don't know me, and not that many people know my face, and they say, "What do you do?" And I say, "I'm a musician." They go, "No, but what do you do for a living?" And they're really quite astonished that someone can earn a living through music.
Yeah. Well, I also read that you grew up without a television and your parents thought that television was the cultural devil. So, with you having a piano at home, they kind of paved the way, right, for you
No,
to become a
absolutely.
musician.
The not having a television was actually is actually not a bad thing, because what are you going to play with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's that thing called the piano. You play that with that. And then I remember somewhere in the 60s, at school, the music teacher switched on Bach, and me going, and I just looking at the cover and me going, woo, yes, of course. All music is technology. All instruments are technology of their time. It doesn't matter if it's a violin. A violin is technology of its time, or a drum is technology of its time, or whatever. Or the pipe organ is technology of its time, and a synthesizer is technology of its time. And if you think about when Bob Moog and Alan Perlman and Don Buchler and all those guys, Morton Subotnick and Herbert Deutsch, and then ultimately Wolfgang Palm, of course, started building synthesizers. There's a time of sort of great revolution and experimentation, and the transistor had just come out and replaced the vacuum tube. So it was like, and really, really terrible op amp and ICs were sort of around that, you know. But these guys, I mean, they didn't see any limits in it. Plus, of course, they were interested in art music. I mean,
Yes.
I know that sort of this quartet of Moog musicians playing at the Modern Art Museum in New York, and things like this. And it wasn't until rock and rollers like, I suppose, Keith Emerson and Keith Emerson, Rick Wakeman started playing with synthesizers that it switched from, because Wendy Carlos, despite the work she did with Stanley Kubrick, I mean, she was very much in the art world. I mean, Switched on Bach became the best-selling classical a record that Columbia Records ever had. I mean, as a complete surprise. But I mean, that's where it all sort of started for me.
Okay. And Hans, you have been highly successful for decades. And looking at you and all that you have accomplished, I see a very motivated and dedicated person with an unusual strong drive. And now, with all that you have done in the past and all the projects and everything that you're still doing, I see no signs whatsoever of slowing down. So, how do you explain all of this? What keeps you motivated to this day?
Well, I don't like getting bored, like just now, yesterday, and the day before, a director phoned me from Los Angeles, and he was describing this film, and I'm in London at the moment. I'm in my little studio in London, and he was describing this film, and I said, I don't really understand. Why don't you come over and show it to me? And so he just got on a plane, and we spent 2 days together, coming up with ideas, realizing that there were impossible questions that need to be answered, and we have no idea how to answer them. And the question is always more interesting than the answer. So I like filling my life full of questions. But that doesn't mean I don't like lying at the beach and reading a book.
Okay, good to hear.
It just doesn't happen quite that
You're
often.
human after all.
Well, I got too many questions left unanswered and too many deadlines, and I've said yes to too many people. And I don't say yes to people because they're nice people. I say yes to people because they bring me interesting ideas or interesting problems to solve. Some of them are very nice people. I mean, like the directors I work with, most of them I'm very good friends with. So I have created a world for myself. From my social life is entirely dependent on people who are equally crazy as me, who work through the night or understand that I'm not available until midday or whatever, and sort of do the same thing. I mean, you mentioned the Ennio Morricone article. There's a documentary about Werner Herzog making Fitzcarraldo. It's called Burden of Dreams. And it just shows you everything that goes wrong. People die on his shoot. People get injured. Water runs out. Water runs too much. He's trying to get this boat over the mountain. His cast leaves him. Everything is a disaster. And he just carries on. And I remember everybody talking about this documentary and going, "Oh God, this guy he's just crazy. How can he do all these things?" And all I kept thinking is, it's people like that I want to work with. I like working with the crazy people.
I see.
And so, you got to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely. Hans, when and how did you first start to work with Waldorf synthesizers? I believe it was Wave in the early 90s.